Martha, you want to share with us your current weight?
Sure. Yeah, I don't mind sharing my current weight. So I currently weigh. Hi, friends. I'm Martha, and I am living La Vida Carni. Carni as in carnivore. As you can see, just welcome to my channel. And so this is a new thing for me. I would have never in a million years have thought that I would be doing a YouTube channel or any kind of, social media like this that's public, because I'm naturally a very private person. But sometimes, you just have to find a way to be accountable when you make a big life decision. And one of those big life decisions is taking care of your health. And so I'm on a mission. I'm on a personal mission to take care of my health and to grow and become a better person. So I just want to have some fun with you guys and welcome you here. And I hope to get to know a lot of you guys in the carnivore community, and also a lot of you that perhaps you that are just carny curious. You don't know what this is about or anything, but yeah, very simply, the carnivore diet is an animal-based diet where you are eating only meat, and you are cooking with only animal fats. So it's a different way of eating, right? It's not what society tells you to do. It's not what a lot of doctors tell you to do. And so if you're gonna eat this kind of way, it requires a little bit of courage. It requires going out of your comfort zone. It requires answering a lot of questions to a lot of people that love you and they're like, concerned about you, friends and family and doctors and all of that. But, something I figured out is that doctors are so smart and they're so amazing and we're so grateful for them, but they don't know everything. And on this journey of nutrition, I've found that we are all still learning together, and there's still so much to learn. And so, what I found today is not my day one on carnivore. Today is actually day 117, 117. So I'm very proud of myself for that. And so we're just going to walk this journey together, and I hope I can learn from you guys, and that maybe you can learn some things from me, and you guys can keep me accountable. Make sure that I get today 600 and 900 and 1,000 and so on. And I'm going to do my best to be a part of your lives, and I pray and hope that you'll be a part of mine. So, okay, so welcome. And today I have someone very special that's helping me. My sister Sandy. She's the Wizard of Oz behind the camera. And she's going to be asking me some questions to make it a little bit different and a little bit easier for me. And we'll see what she has prepared for me today. All right, take it away, Sandy.
Okay, hi everybody. So, Martha, your first video started out in a cemetery. It was a very emotional and I think a big jarring. You shared about losing your father and your brother Joey to diabetes. So I'd like to know a little bit more. How would you describe the relationship with food in your family and your cultural upbringing?
So I come from my parents were born and raised in Mexico. So all my Mexicans out there know that we love our tacos and our tortillas and our enchiladas and the mole and the rice, the Mexican rice, not the Tex-Mex rice. And, all of the things, the tamales at Christmas and the buñuelos, and my goodness gracious, we can eat. And I know y'all love Mexican food because everybody loves Mexican food. So, It's just so carby. It is so carby. And so everyone in my family, I'm the youngest of seven. I come from a very large family and fun family, and we have a lot of fun, and we're very loud when we get together. But usually it's when we get together, just like a lot of your families, it's around food. The food is a big part of when we get together. So yeah, we're all addicted to carbs. I mean, that was what I was always surrounded with, the Mexican food, and as yummy as it is, it's just wasn't good for me. It's just I became addicted to carbs and to sugars, and um, statistics show that Hispanics and the minority communities, the people of color, the Black communities, the Hispanic communities, you know, diabetes is so rampant because we have yummy food, y'all. We really do, but it's so bad for us. It's so bad. So sometimes we just have to cut the cord, and we have to make a huge life change in order to get healthier. So I'm having to cut out the tortillas out of my life and the tacos and all of that. And but I found that something bigger than those aspects of culture is that I want to have a healthy life so that I can actually enjoy it. And in life, as I was talking about in my first video, you have to choose how you want to live. You have a choice. We all have a choice. And I don't have to forego my culture in order to forego my health as well. I can still celebrate my culture and still celebrate being with my family, just eating in a different way. I can still have the fajitas, right? Just not the tortillas.
Great answer. Martha, in our upbringing, this Hispanic upbringing that we had, food was also just a way of how we were shown love, um, from mom, from dad, from grandparents. If you didn't eat, they would take their time. They take great effort to cook you something special. That was a big deal in how they show love. But as you say, it's affected our health. How did this affect your health?
Oh goodness. Yeah, so I've always struggled with my weight. Always. Uh, when my brother-in-law told me something interesting when he first started dating my sister. And it was that he really saw that I really started gaining weight after my parents separated. So I'm sure there's emotional issues that affected all of that, the emotional eating and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a choice, right? But yeah, it blood pressure, just like a lot of you. I didn't have diabetes, but diabetes did touch my family, many members of my family. Um, I was diagnosed with a rare blood disorder when I was 25 years old. It's called antiphospholipid antibody syndrome, APS for short. I believe in the UK it's called Hughes syndrome, and my sister has it as well. And with me, they have no idea. The doctors had no idea what triggered it. But essentially, it's a blood clotting issue. It's a rare blood disorder where it's like the body is attacking itself. And so there are certain symptoms that accompany that, like fatigue, and for some people it's migraines, for other people it's joint pains, and it's different things. And because it's a rare blood disorder, we kind of have to, it's kind of like a carnivore where it's like a subset of people that are learning from each other and how what works for them, what doesn't. And well, there's an APS community as well, and we try to learn from each other and go to each other's Facebook groups and kind of learn what is best working for us. Because in one of my last visits with my hematologist, I had a very frank conversation with him, and I asked him, "Doctor, you don't really know a whole lot about this, do you?" And I have to commend him because he was honest, and he said, "No, ma'am, I don't. So again, we love our doctors and respect them, but the truth is that there's so much about nutrition and health that we still don't know, and we're still learning. So that's been a huge thing that I've been dealing with for the past 20 or so years, and I take warfarin, a blood thinner, to help regulate that, and I have to go monthly in order to get my numbers checked and make sure that I'm within the right range for me. And it is an autoimmune disorder, and I know a lot of people on carnivore have been using the carnivore diet in order to help their autoimmune disorders. So I'm actually, that's one of my goals, is to see how it interacts with APS for the better or for the worse. And yeah, just to see what happens with that. So that's one of the main things. Obviously, losing weight. Everyone wants to lose weight. I have a goal weight that I'm aiming for, and so, yeah.
Awesome. Um, in your first video, you also spoke a lot about life and death as a choice, that God gave us a choice between life and death. And you kind of made a call to action, and you said you chose life. Uh, you've been a carnivore now, on carnivore for 117 days?
Yeah.
And so how has choosing life with carnivore for the last 117 days changed your life so far?
Yeah, oh my goodness. It's so cool. I think that's one of the coolest things about the carnivore diet is that you see changes very quickly. And I'm not saying it just for myself. I am obsessed with all of the carnivore YouTube channels. I just don't get tired of hearing how the carnivore diet is helping so many people. It's fascinating to me. Now, me personally, um, I think the first thing that I noticed is the aches and pains going away. You know how sometimes we think, oh, I'm in my 30s now, I'm in my 40s now, I'm in my 50s now. It's normal to have aches and pains when I get up in the morning and no, it is not normal to be in pain every day, or waking up and being in pain, or waking up and walking around and being in pain. This is not normal for the human body. Um, so that was one of the first things that I noticed, was how it was easier to go down the stairs. I used to walk down the stairs holding myself on the rail, walking very gingerly down the steps. And, you know, I have APS. I want to make sure that I don't fall, because if I have a fall, I can throw a blood clot, and, it can be an issue. And I don't want that. But now it's just, it's so freeing to not be in pain. And isn't it amazing how you don't know how good things can be until you try something that you're like, wow, I didn't know that this was like normal, that you could actually feel good every day. I had heard a lot of carnivores also talking about the carnivore Zen. And I'm like, what in the world is that? But you really have to try it, you guys, if it's only for the carnivore Zen, because it is just so cool. You really do. I can understand how it gets a lot of people out of depression, because, and out of that fog that you get into when you're so carved up and you're so sugared up, because you really, it's like the ketones or something, or whatever it does to your brain. So I believe that they talk about how ketones, the brain thrives on ketones. It thrives on ketones. And so I'm just so fascinated by that. But yeah, I just felt so amazing, with so much energy. And I thought that you had to lose a lot of weight before you felt that good. And I was totally wrong. I didn't know that you could feel this good, even though I still have a lot of weight to lose. So it's very motivating when you get quick results like that. And when you get quick results in regards to a lot of inflammation leaving your body, and just feeling great all of the time. And that's one of my favorite things. I can also say that on day 5 of carnivore, my blood pressure came back to normal, which was awesome. My next goal is to get completely off of my losartan. So that's my next goal. But yeah, day 117, and I'm looking forward to keep going.
Awesome. So next question for you is, one of your goals in starting this channel, you said, was for accountability with your carnivore journey. How do you plan to track your health progress? How do you plan to do that?
Did I say that? I was
Yes.
just kidding. I was kidding about that. No, I'm just kidding. Um, yeah, no. I feel like even just having a YouTube channel is accountability because I would never in a million years ever would have had a YouTube channel. Not ever. I'm a very private person, and you can ask anyone in my family, you can ask my closest friends. I'm a very private person. Even though I like being social, I'm a very private person. But when you make a big lifestyle change like this, sometimes you need a little extra oomph and something to keep you accountable. And I just feel like even just talking about it in public to you guys and to family and friends, it helps. It like makes it more real. You know, it makes it like, oh, yeah, I really am serious about this. And I am. So, yeah, just keeping up with this YouTube channel, I think is going to keep me accountable. Also, because I know you guys are going to want to see my progress, and that's going to encourage me and to keep going. Um, and also, I'll be sharing with you guys. I'm I can't promise you that I'm going to be perfect. I'm not going to do that. But I am going to promise you that I'm always going to be honest with you guys about where I'm at, my failings, my success, everything. I'll when I get my labs done, I'm going to share with you guys what that is so you can see if I'm dying or not, or if I have scurvy or not. Um, yeah, so I'll be sharing, when I go out on my little walks or doing some exercises, and we'll just do life together. And so you can see what the carnivore lifestyle is, which is honestly it's pretty easy so far. So far. When it gets more challenging, I'll let you guys know, and I'll be honest with you. But I promise to always be very honest with you guys.
So, from the start of this journey that you've been on so far, what are some of the boundaries or systems that you set for yourself in order to be successful?
Yeah, so big thing for me has been connecting with the carnivore community. Um, there is a thriving carnivore community online on YouTube and carnivore groups, coaching groups, and that sort of thing. That's been huge for me because uh, that has helped to encourage me when I'm the only one in my life doing carnivore. None of my family are doing it, none of my friends are doing it. Nobody's doing it. So it's been super helpful for me to be able to, first of all, I'm obsessed with all of the carnivore YouTube channels. If you're out there, I will follow you. And I want to know your story, and I want to know what you're doing, and I want to know what you're learning, because I'm learning from you guys. And I'm learning from when you fail and when you succeed. And I'm cheering you guys on, and I'm cheering myself on, and so that's been super helpful. But all of the stories out there, from Kelly Hogan to Carrie from Homestead House, Carnivore Kip, and Russell, and Alia Wells, and Adam from Carnivore Today, and goodness, all of you. There's so many. I could go down a list of. I'm just obsessed with you guys because I love to hear your stories and to hear how you're doing, and because it really helps me, and it helps me to feel like I'm not alone. And I think we all need that in whatever journey we're on, right? We always need somebody to identify with. And so that's one of the ways, is being a lot of my time is consumed with learning from you guys and following your journeys, and keeping myself accountable. But the coaching groups have really helped me a lot too. Hearing people's personal stories and recommendations, how to get better, how to succeed, how to change things up, all of that sort of thing. Love, of course, getting as educated as I can about this way of eating. The science behind all of that really reinforces why I'm doing what I'm doing, and why it's the proper human diet, as Dr. Ken Berry says. Obviously, he's my favorite guy out there. Your favorite channel. Love you, Dr. Berry and Nisha. You guys are amazing. You're so clear and concise and not in a condescending way. Like a lot of doctors are, where they can be difficult to talk to sometimes, or they can be intimidating. And you guys are not like that. You guys are so down home, and I have to say thank you. On behalf of all of the carnivore community, we're just all so grateful for the work that you're doing, and all of the doctors that are out there, Dr. Ovadia and Dr. Boz, and well, there's so many, but we love you all. Dr. Chafee, amazing. I'm obsessed with all of your interviews. I hear the same things over and over, but it's really, you have to hear something 1,000 times before it really starts becoming a part of your vocabulary sometimes. And all of that has really helped me a lot.
Awesome. So how would you describe success on carnivore for yourself? How would you how do you define that, or how would you describe being successful on carnivore?
Yeah, so obviously I have weight goals. At least right now, my weight goal is to be about 145. That's going to take some time, and I'm completely aware of that. And I'm in this for the long haul, because this is going to be a lifestyle, right? So, but more than anything, two is also going to be how it affects my APS, for good or bad. I really want to see what kind of results I have on that, if I see any changes or not. And I'll be talking with my hematologist about that, so he can follow me closely on all of those things. But more than anything, just feeling good. I feel so good, and it just seems like I have never eaten food in such a way that it's so easy and I feel so good all of the time. And as long as I feel good and I'm still thriving, I'm going to continue eating this way, because and my labs are normal. Obviously, my labs are important to me. I want to know how my triglycerides are. I want to know how my blood pressure is. I want to know all of those inflammation markers and all of those things. But yeah, as long as I feel good and I'm still, I'm still on the right path, and I don't, if I don't see any adverse effects or anything like that, I pay attention to all of that closely. I'm trying to learn to be intuitive, to listen to my body. It takes some work, but it's a learning process. So for me, success is just feeling great. And obviously, of course, I'm gonna weigh myself. Yeah, of course, I have weight goals, but I'm, as long as I feel good, really.
So, Martha, before we continue, you've been on this for 117 days now, from the day of this recording. But how did you even find carnivore? How did you even know to do carnivore? How did you find yourself in this place?
Yeah, so a few years ago, my crazy sister Sandra, she told me about the ketogenic diet. And I thought she was absolutely nuts. I thought she was crazy. Because she was like, oh yeah, she took me to her kitchen and she got her frying pan. She's like, look, and then she started putting a whole bunch of butter and making eggs with a whole bunch, and then like it was crazy. And she started telling me about this, and it just sounded like the most outlandish, craziest thing. And then she told me about Dr. Barry, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see who this doctor is. And I just thought he was nuts. Like, there is no way, like, this has got to be irresponsible. No other doctor is talking about. I've never heard about this in my life. But I actually started listening to him, and because I needed to make a change. I've tried everything, just about. I mean, I had a friend who, had like 3% body fat, and he would work out all the time. And I'm like, listen, you clearly know what you're doing. Teach me your ways, master. So we went out to eat. We sat down at the restaurant. He's like, okay, I'm going to make a meal plan for you. And I'm like, awesome, let's do this. And yeah, I started it, doing the 3 meals a day and the 3 snacks a day and eating all the time. I'm telling you, I was hangry and hungry all the day long. I'm like, that's not sustainable for me. I cannot live like this. No, I cannot. I cannot. And the meal prepping and I'm like, no. I can't imagine that people have been living for thousands of years and they never, ate 6 times a day. You know what I mean? It's just nobody does that. Like historically, nobody did that. So that just it didn't make sense to me. And I was just hangry all of the time. Um, so I decided to do keto, and I did do keto, and I had success on keto, but I stopped keto because I still had a lot of cravings. And so I was like, I did well. I lost 60 pounds, I believe, was the last number. But I still had cravings all of the time. And I'm like, I don't know if I could do this forever. Um, and then one day I watched Dr. Barry and he started talking about, hey, I'm going to do a carnivore challenge. And I thought, okay, he has lost it. And I was like, this is nuts. How can you cut out completely all vegetables? They're good for you. That sounded kind of ridiculous now that I say it out loud. But that's what I was thinking because that's what everybody tells you. And honestly, I feel like we are brainwashed. We are like all collectively brainwashed to believe all these things. And I'm not saying that you can't eat vegetables or anything like that, of course. I like salads just like anyone else. Well, not actually the lettuce, everything you put on the salad, right? The dressing and the fruit and the nuts and all of that. And the cheese, yeah. The goat cheese and all of that. It's awesome. But, you know, that was the first person that I heard talk about carnivore. It was not Jordan Peterson or Joe Rogan or any. It was Dr. Barry, and I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, whoever wants to try it with me. And I was I remember at that point, I'm like, I'm gonna cut it right there, and I just clicked out. And so it took some time before I actually came back and decided to try carnivore. And it was because I watched a Kelly Hogan interview where she was talking, I believe, to Dr. Barry. And she was talking about her experience. And there was something that really clicked with me, and it was when she said that she was eating an all meat diet except for like a diet soda and sugar free jello and something else. And she said that when other carnivores told her, zero carbers told her, when you cut out this, all the cravings will go away. And I was like, what? And she said that she cut those few things out, and all of her cravings went away. And I was like, you have got to be kidding me, Kelly Hogan. There is no way. You just cut 2 things out of your diet or whatever it was, and all your cravings went away. I just had a hard time believing that. But it stuck with me. Like, I was like, could that be true? I mean, she looks like an honest person. She sounds believable. And so it took me some time, but eventually I decided to give it a try. And I did give it a try last year, and I was doing well, but I fell under the lie that I was like feeling pretty confident about myself. And I was like, hey, I'm thriving. I'm doing pretty good. And then it got to a point where I was like, yeah, I'm going to have a cheat day because I already know the way back. I can do carnivore again, and then I can get back on the train. The problem was that the train left me. And I didn't know how to get back on the train. I kept trying to get on the train. I kept falling, trying to get back on the train, but I was moving too fast. And I realized at that point that my name is Martha, and I'm a carb addict, and I'm a sugar addict, and I just can't. I can't allow myself to be on that slippery slope. I have to cut the cord, and I have to go all in. And that was, I'm telling you, I'm being honest. That was so hard for me to admit to myself because I felt like I was a failure. Like, how could I not moderate. Everybody tells you eat in moderation, eat in moderation. I'm like, I do not moderate, okay? When it's Christmas time, I'm eating all the tamales. And when it's my birthday, I want the cake. And I cannot moderate. And so I was always finding excuses to eat the carbs. I found myself. And so I fell down that hole. So I finally decided, it was when I came to the point where I realized that I cannot moderate. It was like a cold shower, and it was when I knew that I had to make it a lifestyle change, and that was it. And surprisingly, I felt so free after that. I felt so free, and I was like, okay, we're doing this. You have to choose. And when you have your brother pass away, and I saw my dad when he had diabetes, and he was in the hospital, and he was bloated, and they thought he was going to die, and I thought it was my last moments of seeing him alive, and seeing my brother and seeing him suffer, and you know what? It hits you. It hits you hard. And you have to make a choice. And you know what? I'd rather give up the foods that I grew up loving, and I'd rather choose living a healthier life so that I can enjoy the people that I love, and to accomplish the goals that I want to accomplish while I'm living on this earth. So, yeah. Dr. Barry, first person that said that. So I don't think you're crazy anymore, Dr. Barry.
That's awesome, Martha. Thank you for sharing your journey so far. But before we go, I have two last questions. One of them is, can you just tell us one tidbit thing that is not about carnivore, but tell us something about yourself?
Ooh. I want to take over the world. No, yeah, so I love Jesus. That's the number one thing about me. I love Jesus way more than carnivore, but I feel like doing carnivore helps me spend more time with Jesus, so that's awesome. Yeah, he's the biggest part of my life, and I love my prayer time with God, and I'm very active in my church. I have a 9 to 5 job, but when I'm not doing that, I'm very active in my church, and I actually sing at my church. I lead worship, and I do play a little acoustic electric guitar sometimes, and I do like to write songs and for my church, and yeah, that's the passion of my life is ministry. And I actually grew up in ministry. My parents were pastors and evangelists and missionaries and all of that. And so but when I came to know the Lord, that really was a game changer for me. But yeah, I feel like a carnivore diet helps me do a lot more than I did before. And
is it a lot easier to fast?
Yes, it's a lot easier to fast. We fast every January, and it's certainly much easier to fast. But because I fast for spiritual reasons, I'm trying to not fast as much on carnivore diet. I'm actually trying to learn to eat more. It's something I've been learning from the carnivore community. So I try to prioritize getting enough nutrition every day, according to my body type and all of that. So yeah, that's huge for me. But yeah, fasting has become a lot easier for sure.
So last question. Can you just share with us when's your next upload, and what can we expect from your channel?
Yeah, so the goal is to have a new video up for you guys every Monday, and not all of them are going to be as long as this one. Some are going to be 5 minutes or 10 minutes or something like that. I look forward to updating you where I'm at, updating you on, I'll take you on some walk and talks. Sometimes it'll just be me, sometimes it'll be with a family member or a friend or a special guest. I look forward to interviewing a few carnivores, because I really want you guys to meet some of these people that are so inspiring. Speaking of which, my next video is going to have my very first interview, and that's with Susan Boykin. She's only done one interview so far because she doesn't like being on camera. But she agreed to meet with me. It was like a divine appointment. It was awesome. I got to meet her and spend time with her and go on a walk with her early one morning a few weeks ago. In fact, I met her the day after the filming of my first video. It was amazing. And I'm so looking forward to seeing her again. And so yeah, stay tuned for the next episode. You'll get to meet Susan and see her story and hear her story. And it's actually going to be in person, so we're not doing it a live stream. We're going to do it in person. We're going to her house, and it's going to be so much fun. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, I'm going to do some interviews occasionally, but it's going to be mostly following my journey. And I'm not going to be doing too many recipe videos because I eat meat. There's really not much to say about that. And there's tons of YouTube channels with recipes and all of that. So I'm not going to do a whole lot of that. But yeah, just sharing my journey. And yeah, I hope you'll follow along. We're going to have some fun. And before I go, I do want to thank Carrie from Homestead How and the entire carnivore community for the 24-hour live stream. There is a Carnivore Diet movie. You can go to carnivoredietmovie.com, I believe is the link. I'm going to link it below. So you can check it out. We are raising funds for this movie. I know they're going to follow certain people, see how they do in the carnivore diet. And so this is going to be a really special thing. Lots of doctors, carnivore doctors, are going to be involved in it and getting it done. It's a special passion project that we really want to support, and I'm 100% behind it. And I was so honored to be a part of the live stream that day and have a little bit of my personal story on there. So thank you so much, Carrie, and everyone. And I'm 100% behind you guys. Thank you. And I will see you guys next time.